Alright, let's get it. And normally I don't use these arrows, but I have 50 of these bitches, so I'm gonna go ahead and just use them all. Alright, let's get it going. Bang. That's one attack. That's 2 attacks. Let's go and target big dude. That's 3 attacks. Each of these attacks are doing like 50 damage, no? Holy. Something like that. Okay. Keep going. Yup. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. I forgot how many times we've attacked. But, look at that, everything's dead. Holy shit. What's going on with y'all, man? AoE back at you again with another video build guide for Baldur's Gate 3. And this time, I present to y'all, boom, headshot. Alright? Now, this character is very similar to the Titan Sniper build that I made, alright, a couple weeks back. And I just wanted to make a different version. This time, instead of focusing on flat damage, I wanted to focus on pure crits. I wanted to stack as much crit as possible alongside having a very high AC. So, as you just saw, even though I was using the arrow of many targets, each arrow was damn near doing, 50 damage with all of my damage buffs on top of it. With these arrows, even without these arrows, it does a lot of damage and very high single target. And I believe this build can also attack 13 times per turn, just like my Titan Sniper build, and it is very, very strong. It's also very easy to play, right? It's full. As you can see here, we have 11 levels into Fighter, so there's not much spell casting involved. You get in there, you do your attacks, you use your arrows, and you kill a lot of stuff a lot earlier in the turn because of our high dexterity, meaning we have high initiative rolls, right? So yeah, man, I like this build a lot. It really, stuff like this and stuff like the Fire Sorcerer really trivializes the game, to be honest, because it makes the game super duper easy. But I made this build just in case for those who are thinking about making a crit bow build. This is definitely the one that you want to go to. So without further ado, my mans, I present to y'all, boom, headshot. Alright, so first thing before I mention anything about the leveling process, this is one of those characters you can play from start to finish. It is pretty much a pure fighter class, so you can play it with a bow at level 1 from the beginning right up to the end. Well, you can pick up some dex items, you could pick up some crit items, you could pick up all those damage items along the way, and from start to finish, this build is pretty damn good. So, let's get it going. Level 1, obviously, level 1 fighter. Fighting style, archery. Abilities, 16 dex, 16 con, 14 wisdom. 16 dex is pretty important, obviously, because this is our damage plus initiative plus, our AC stat, most important stat. Okay, constitution, we want that high as well, mainly because it gives us a lot of HP. This is not only is this a very high damage character, as you saw in the intro, we have 26 AC plus 100 plus HP, so we have a lot. It's pretty tanky as well, which makes it kind of broken, but that's what I'm here for. I'm here to show y'all the broken build, you know what I'm saying? So for 16 dex, 16 con, and for the third stat, just choose whatever you want. I chose wisdom because normally my rangers are the wisdom type characters, coming in with the perception checks, coming in with the insight checks or survival checks or whatever, so that's why I bumped wisdom up. It really doesn't matter. Just make sure your dex and con is 16 or fairly as high as you can get it. And as far as the abilities go, again, I just chose acrobatics so you don't get shoved off the damn map, which can happen very often in this game. And just choose whatever wisdom skill that you want. For me, I just chose insight because we were already proficient in perception. At level 2, we get that sweet action surge just by being a fighter. At level 3, we get our fighter subclass, and of course, because we're doing a crit build, we want to get champion for that improved critical hit. The number you need to roll a critical hit while attacking is reduced by 1. This effect can stack, and trust, we stack this effect as much as we can with a bunch of items. At level 4, we get our feat as a fighter, and I chose to get +2 dexterity. You know, you can get sharpshooter if you want. If you want to get sharpshooter this early and do a lot of damage, you can go ahead and do that. But for me, I like consistency, right? Sharpshooter early in the game is usually not going to work, because having a -5 to your attack rolls with a low proficiency score and your dexterity still not high enough, you're going to be hitting like half of the time. So I'd rather be more consistent, so I just added 2 more dexterity. But then again, it's really up to you. All right. At level 5 as a fighter, we get the other super sweet extra attack, which basically means every action when you attack, you get an extra attack. And with haste, you get 2 more. And with Elixir Bloodlust, you get 2 more. Type shit like that. At level 6 as a fighter, we get another feat. Yes, for fighters. Fighters get 1 more feat than all the other classes, you know, which makes them probably one of the best, if not the best, martial class. But for me, I chose +2 dex just to get max dex. Now I got max dex, I got +5 to my initiative, I got +5 to my AC, and I have +5 to my attack and damage rolls. But for you, if you want to get sharpshooter here too, that's totally fine. But for me, I don't like getting sharpshooter until I get a certain ring, which I'm going to show later in the video. At level 7 as a fighter, we don't really get anything very special here. We get proficient in athletics, which doesn't really matter because we're already proficient in acrobatics. And we also get our increased jump distance, which doesn't really matter either, because at a certain point in the game, you can just use spells like long jump, increases your jump distance, and you could just become a partial illithid and fly anyway. So these don't really matter, but we just want to keep leveling as a fighter so we can get to that sweet level 11. At level 8 as a fighter, now is where I would normally pick up sharpshooter, which, of course, if you didn't know, you get a -5 to your attack rolls, which does suck. But if that attack lands, you get a +10 to your hit, and that counts for each and every single one of your attacks. Because we're attacking 13 times, right? If you got everything active, that's 130 damage, not including the damage roll of your attack, of your items, or the additional damage buffs of your spells. Nothing. That's just flat 10 damage to each of your attacks that land. Super freaking good. And of course, you pretty much don't have to worry about high ground, low ground rules, and have the same attack to hit all the time. Okay. So also at this point in the game, it's where I will have Risky Ring in my inventory at this point, which I will show later, but that ring gives us an advantage to all our attacks, which pretty much supplements for the sharpshooter debuff, okay? But then again, whatever feats you want to go in order is all up to you. I like going +2 dex, then my sharpshooter. But if you want to do sharpshooter first, just for that super burst, then that's all good. At level 9 as a fighter, we get something pretty useful here, actually, something that's not looked upon. You have become as durable as an iron golem. Whenever you fail a saving throw, you can roll again using the new result instead. So you basically have advantage on your saving throws, which, if you didn't know, I just talked about the Risky Ring, which gives us advantage on all our attacks, but it gives us disadvantage on all our saving throws. But with Indomitable, we have for that saving throw that we have to roll against, we now have advantage on it. So it pretty much cancels out. So fighter is really, really good to fight against that Risky Ring downside. All right. And I believe you can only use this once per long rest, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not super broken. But yeah, Indomitable, not bad. At level 10, as a fighter, we get another fighting style. And of course, our first one that we got was archery, which is a no-brainer. The next one is also pretty much a no-brainer. Defense, which gives us a +1 to our AC. And finally, in our final level as a fighter, a level 11 fighter, we get one of the best class features in all of Baldur's Gate 3, in all of D&D. Improved extra attack. Yes. And what does that mean? That means exactly what you think it means. That means every single time we have one action, we can now attack, extra attack, and then improved extra attacks. So now we have 3 attacks per action. So let's do it again. Everyone normally has one action. Boom. That's 3 attacks. Let's say you're hasted. That's another action. Boom. That's 6 attacks. Let's say you have an elixir of bloodlust and you just killed an enemy. Boom. That's 9 attacks now. action surge. Then you action surge. That's 12 attacks. And then you count in that last bit of bonus action attack, which we can't do just yet, but we will as soon as we get into our next multi-class. We are now at level 12, our final level, and no, we are not going into fighter. But if you want to go level 12 fighter and get an extra feat, I don't know what feat you would grab. You can grab alert, which you shouldn't need because you have high dexterity anyway. You can grab tough, which gives you more HP, but you already have. You already saw I already had more than 100 HP, which is again more than enough. So for me, for that last level, I want to dip into that one level war cleric, which gets us our extra attack from a bonus action. Where is that? There it is. War Priest. When you make an unarmed or weapon attack, you can spend a War Priest charge to make an additional attack as a bonus action. And I believe you have as many charges as your level 1, as the level of your cleric, plus whatever your wisdom modifier is. I could be wrong, but I think that's it. And because our wisdom modifier right now is +2, and we're a level 1 cleric, we get 3 charges of the War Priest bonus action, which is pretty damn good. Pretty much every time. That lasts for you can use it once per fight or once per turn. Okay, so you have 3 uses of it. If your team is strong enough in Baldur's Gate 3, you should be ending battle within 1 or 2 turns anyway. So by the time you run out of War Priest charges for that bonus action attack, just take a long rest. It's that simple, okay? And that's why we take our last level into that War Cleric. For the deity, for the cantrips, doesn't matter. You're not going to be using them anyway, so I just picked some useful ones. For the subclass, the only thing that matters is the subclass for that war domain thing to get our War Priest charges. And as far as the spells, again, doesn't really matter. I chose Sanctuary just because it's a good spell. I chose Create Water just because it's a good spell. And I chose Healing Word because just in case you got a free bonus action and a teammate needs it, you can heal him, which adds your wisdom modifier to it. All right. And now let's head to the items of the build. What really make the build as strong as it is. Alright, so the first item that I want to show is what I built the build around of. When I saw this item, I knew I wanted to create a build like this, and that is the bow that we're using, the Deadshot. It comes with improved critical, which is the same thing as the champion fighter subclass, and this stacks, by the way. The number you need to roll a crit while attacking is reduced by 1. This effect can stack. You're going to see this quite a bit when we go over our other items, okay? The wielder doubles their proficiency bonus when rolling range attacks with this weapon, unless they have disadvantage, all right? And because we're running the risky ring, even if something offsets that, we're just going to attack normally. So we're pretty much always adding our proficiency bonus to our range attacks, which at max level I believe is +4 or +5. I'm pretty sure it's +4. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so that's pretty good. So with risky ring and the second line from this bow, it is very hard for us to miss an attack, and we want to make sure we hit on all our attacks because of the good old sharpshooter, which is right here. Which you want to make sure you press K and put on your bar, by the way, because some fights you actually want to turn it off, because enemies like Raphael have damn near 25 AC, and you're not going to be able to hit with sharpshooter, okay? But yeah, the build was built around Deadshot, and you can get this in Act 3, one of the vendors right outside of Sorceress Sundries. I believe it is the short girl vendor, I believe, and she sells the Deadshot alongside the guy. So like I said, there are 2 vendors outside of Sorcerer Sundries. One of them sells this, and the other one sells the armor piece, the Armor of Agility. Add your full dexterity modifier to your armor class, and it also gets +1 to your saving throws. So this armor is super good, the best defensive option by far, and this is the reason why we have 26 AC. If I take this armor off, we still have 19 AC. Oh my god, big nips. And it gives us a nice 26. Super freaking good. This character is tanky, 26 AC, 100 HP, a lot of freaking damage. Definitely one of those top tier damage characters. It is a little simple, and you can definitely say a little bit boring because it is a martial fighter class with improved extra attack. But you know, I don't know about y'all, but I like seeing high damage numbers. You know what I'm saying? So super good. There is a more offensive option. Okay, besides the Armor of Agility, you can use, where is it? You can use, there it is. You can use the Ballast Armor, okay? Enemies within 2 meters, which is pretty close. Normally you don't want to get pretty close as a bow build, which is why I'm not wearing this armor. But if you really want to do the highest of damage, then enemies within 2 meters become vulnerable to piercing. Bow and arrow does piercing damage, okay? And of course you get another bonus to your initiative rolls, which you really don't need, but that is nice sometimes, because some enemies in the game have super high initiative rolls like Raphael. But yeah, this is a more offensive armor. I didn't use this because my AC got gutted, and you have to be close to an enemy, right? Which you don't want to do for a bow build. But if you want to play like that, then go ahead and use this if you want. For me though, I definitely preferred the Armor of Agility. Plus our damage is already high enough, so now I can do damage from long range while being very, very tanky, right? Alright, cool. Next, let's show the stat sticks. So of course, the go-to stat stick when it comes to pretty much any attacking build is the Knife of the Undermountain King. The wielder scores a critical hit when rolling a 19, which, again, we are stacking our crits. So now, 19, 18, 17 from being a champion, all right, and we're not even done there. So now keep track, keep in mind, now we only have to roll a 17 while having advantage on all our attacks to deal a critical hit. Okay, super good. All right, you can get this off the Kresh Yalek, the vendor. All right, take it from them, murder them to get it, or buy it from them, whatever you want to do. You can get it from there. Okay. For our second stat stick, we are using one of Orin's weapons. Okay, this is probably one of the more iconic weapons when it comes to Baldur's Gate 3, because we first see Orin wield this when we first meet her, with her, for some reason, slightly attractive, undead, emo girl vibe. Okay, we see her wield this, and of course it has her netherstone in the middle of this weapon. But this is her dagger, which again has the improved critical line. So now we need to roll a 16. All right, but we're not even done there. So now we only need to roll a 16, and because we have advantage on all our attacks, rolling a 16 is not that hard. You know what I'm saying? So boom. And also it's a bound weapon, which really doesn't matter. You can get this obviously after defeating Orin. She also drops a sword, this short sword, which is really, really good for a assassin crit type build, which I'm working on, don't worry. But for the second stat stick, again, I wanted to use as much crit stacking as possible, and Bloodthirst definitely does that. Now, if you don't want to use this, that's totally fine. You can use Rhapsody instead. This is also a pretty damn good go-to stat stick. Get a +1 bonus to attack rolls, damage, and spell save DC for every foe you slay, up to a maximum of 3. You can get this buff very easily by attacking apples and plants and pots, by the way. So you can get this +3 bonus very, very easily, okay? And if you want to use this instead of the Bloodthirst, that'd be 100% totally fine. But for me, I want to stick with the theme of the build, stick with the concept, and go with the crit. All right? Now let's go to our helmet. Okay? Saravox Horned Helmet. You gain dark vision up to a range of 3 meters or 15 meters if you already have it. So it actually comes with dark vision, which I just realized right now, and that's pretty good, because I think only half of the classes in this game come with dark vision. So this is actually pretty nice. All right, just in case you're picking a race that doesn't have dark vision. Now you do. But more importantly, the number you need to roll a crit while attacking is reduced by 1. All right, and of course, you can't be frightened, and it cannot be afflicted with other emotion-altering conditions. And you also get a +1 to your Constitution saving throw. So a super solid helmet. Our most important thing is the crit, obviously, but everything surrounding it is very, very good. Okay, so now let's go and do a quick count on what we need to roll as a crit for this build. So 19, champion, 18, okay, 17, 16. 15. Now we need to roll. All we need to roll to land a critical hit on anything is a 15, and we had advantage on all our attacks because of Risky Ring. So that is not even that hard to do, and we could still stack this with the Elixir of Viciousness, which would make it 14. But y'all know me, Obviously, the best choice is the Elixir of Bloodlust, but if you want to stick with this theme of the build, then you can use the Elixir of Viciousness, which would make that critical hit number even lower. Now we need to roll even a 14, and that is just freaking crazy. The damage this build does is nuts, especially like you saw in the intro. If you have Arrow of Many Targets, this is the best arrow in the game. It's not even close, okay? When it comes to AoE, that is. But for single target ones, you have your purple arrows, and of course you have your smoke powder arrows. By the way, if you guys see any of these arrows in the shops, please buy them. Please buy them, okay? As far as the other arrows go, I like having a stack of 10 for more of the, you know, utility-based arrows. But these offensive arrows, they don't come around very often. So, as you can see here, I stacked them as much as I could just because I knew how I know how broken they are. So please buy these arrows if you run across them, okay? But yeah, so where were we? So yeah, that's the helmet, and of course you can get this off of Saravok, which is Orin's dad, right? Orin's dad. Spoilers. They're in the ball temple or the ball chamber where you have to get, you have to get the ball amulet. There he is. Bing, bing, bang, boom. Okay. So for the cloak, again, I know it's a little boring, but we're using the cloak of protection. All right. Now you can definitely use the Shade Slayer cloak, which reduces our crit even more, which is the theme of the build. Sure. But what I don't like about this cloak is you have to be hiding. Okay, it's very similar to... let me actually show you guys a couple more helmets that you can use before you get Saravok's. Covert Cowl, the Critical Roll, okay, or the Dark Justicar helmet, okay? But the problem with these helmets and the Shade Slayer cloak is they say things like, while obscured, the number you need to roll to crit is lower, okay? Same thing with this one, while obscured, and for this one, you have to be hiding even, all right? Now, it's pretty easy to be obscured in this game. All you gotta do is press C, all right? And then hover over areas. If it's half, that means you're obscured. If it's full... Let me try to find a full area. If it's full, that means you're in the sun. So half or zero is where or it empties where you want to go. Okay, but I mean, I really don't want to depend on that, which is why I went with the more consistent cloak of protection. But hey, if you want to stick with the theme of the build, by all means, use the Shade Slayer cloak and be a critical demon. Alright? It's up to you. It really is up to you. Oh yeah, you can get the cloak of protection from Last Light Inn. Y'all know where to get it. And you can get this off of a kid vendor in the guild hall in the Act 3 sewers. Bang bang. Alright? And for the gloves, I'm using the Helldusk gloves. Why? Because I want that 1 to 6 extra fire damage for our weapon attack rolls. Now, besides these, you can get these off of Act 3 House of Hope off of Harlip. Before these, you can use these. The flawed Helldusk gloves, which you can trade in Infernal Iron to Damon in Act 2 at the Last Light Inn for. Okay. And before these, I was using the gloves of archery. Where are these bitches? Which it adds 2 to our ranged weapon attacks, and you can get this super early at the Goblin Camp. And also, if you're a little confused on where to get these items or what these items are in the first place, just go to my channel. I have pretty much all the best items in Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 in their specific locations and how to get them. Just look at one of those videos, okay? This is not, I'm just trying to explain it as fast as possible on, the items that I'm using for this build and whatnot. So, but yeah, those are the alternatives that I would use up until I get the Helldusk gloves, alright? And for the boots, of course, we're sticking with the go-to Nightwalkers, okay? But I will say I did find an interesting pair of boots, all right? And because we are wearing the Helldusk gloves, you can fuck around and wear these, all right? And what these do is you cannot be forcibly moved by foe spells or actions, and you ignore effects of difficult terrain. So pretty much it comes with freedom of movement, all right? But when you fail a saving throw, you may use your reaction to succeed instead. So now we have another way to supplement against the risky ring, along with our Indomitable from Fighter. So pretty good. But not only that, Hellcrawler is a teleport. It's a teleport that does damage and refreshes off of a long rest. So I might fuck around and use these just so I could, fill in the the theme of the Helldusk. You know what I'm saying? But it's really up to you. The reason why I'm not wearing these is because you don't get these till super later in the game, until Act 3. And if possible, I like to show you guys an item that you can get really early, just like these. You can get these all the way in Act 1 in the Underdark Grimforge, right? So that's why I'm showing these. But if you get up there, switch to these when you can in Act 3, okay? Okay, let me boop, boop, boop. And what am I missing here? Oh yeah, our jewelry. Surgeon Subjugation Amulet. Once per long rest, when you score a crit, this is a crit build, so I just want to follow the theme. You can paralyze the target for 2 turns, and you can get this in the House of Healing off the main Thorn boss in there. And instead of fighting him, I suggest bringing a high charisma bard character in there and talk him and his lackeys to death for that free XP and for this free sweet item. Okay. And now, probably the second most important item in this build is the Risky Ring. You can get this off of Moonrise Tower in Act 2. The vendor, her name is Araj Oblodra. All right, there are 2 vendors in the main room, and there is 1 vendor off to the side. This is the vendor off to the side, and she sells one of the best rings in the game, which gives you advantage on all your attack rolls. Yes, we have disadvantage on our saving throws, but because we are using things like Indomitable, Cloak of Protection, Armor of Agility, and possibly the Helldusk boots, that disadvantage on our saving throws doesn't really even matter, right? It's all about those advantage on our attack rolls to get Sharpshooter up and running, all right? And for our last ring, the Caustic Band, which gives us an extra 2 damage on all our attacks. Now, because we're getting that 1 level into Cleric, we can definitely use the Strange Conduit Ring, which gives us a 1 to 4 extra psychic damage. Let me find it. You can definitely use this if you want, which you can get this at the Creche and the Inquisitor room. There's a chest in there. Boom, you can get it in there. But you know, I wanted to just follow the Marshall plan. This is not a spellcasting build, so because of that, I just wanted to use this, which is a flat 2 damage. And of course, y'all know where you can get this. You can get this at the Myconid Colony Underdark vendor. I believe her name is Derek or Blurg. It's one of those. You can get this over there. All right. And there you go, y'all. Boom headshot build. All right. This video has been provided to you by AoE, which is me, but okay. And I am done playing this game. That doesn't mean I'm done making videos, okay? I've pretty much completed every single type of playthrough that you can think of to make sure I get all the items and the characters and whatnot. So now I can make video build guides and video educational videos on this game and whatnot, okay? But I'm looking for a new game to play. If you got a new game that I could play that you guys want to see some shit on, let me know down in the comments. It's going to be Baldur's Gate 3 for quite some time, pretty much for the rest of this year, just because this is definitely one of those games where you can almost endlessly make content for, which I'm thankful for, by the way. Thank you, Larian Studios. Okay, this game is awesome. All right, and of course, whenever they come out with their DLC, which I'm sure they're working on, just because their reception on this game has been amazing for this year, and it's gonna win Game of the Year. It's not even fucking close. And if it doesn't, we'll all riot and we'll stomp out their houses. But another case. Thanks for watching the video, y'all. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you guys use this build, and I hope you guys own as much as I do. All right. If you did enjoy the video, if you did enjoy the build, please, y'all know what to do. Help me with the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. Trust me, I know it sounds small, but all that shit actually fucking matters. It's not up to me. It's up to the goddamn YouTube analytics. All right. So please help me out. Other than that, that's pretty much it, man. I'm out of here. Next video will be on Monday. You know, the upload schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. All right. Monday is the build guide. Wednesday is the, I'll show y'all, I'll teach y'all some shit, some educational videos in this game. And Friday is another build guide. We're going to keep up with that upload schedule until further notice. But for now, I'm out of here. Y'all have a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed the Boom Headshot build. And I will see y'all on the next video, Baldur's Gate 3. All right. Peace.